to the station, Kentucky's Conservative Outpost, the only program in Kentucky that deals with news and politics from a conservative perspective. So thanks for joining us this week. And we've got a really interesting program. I'm excited to introduce our guest today. First, I want to introduce my co-host, Jim Waters, and the man, the legend, and future hip-hop star. And then we have...
working on it, man.
That's right. On it. And we have a real hip-hop star with us today. Yes. It's Diane Starr, otherwise known as Gucci Grandma. And so we'll explain more about that in a moment. And so, Diane, welcome to the program. And
Thank you.
We're excited to have you here. Just to explain to our audience a bit of who you are. You are a local political activist. You've been involved in local conservative politics for quite a while. You have a very, very solid reputation and name out there, and you've been involved in many circles, and so we want to learn more about what you've done. But also, you have an event coming up that you're promoting. It's the Revival for America with General Flynn. Many folks that have followed conservative politics know that there's a sort of a traveling speaking circuit for General Flynn, who was part of the Trump administration, who was basically persecuted by the FBI.
Absolutely.
And all this. And so he has an amazing story, and he's a real patriot. And so he will be coming to Kentucky, and we're going to talk more about that. But Diane, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Both.
So, and
Jim, Tom.
yeah, absolutely. And of course, we teased your intro with the term Gucci Grandma. Gucci Grandma. So what is Gucci Grandma about? And because you don't want to call a lady Grandma very easily, so there has to be some context to this. So the reason why she's known as Gucci Grandma, you are connected with a hip hop artist, Forgiato Blow, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. Tell me about that connection and what's happened there recently, too.
Well, it was. I don't believe anything's accident. I think it was a God-given thing. I went there to concrete General Flynn coming and Forgiato Blow. They hang in the same circles. They've done videos, believe it or not, together with Flynn. Very, very patriotic. Very MAGA.
Yeah,
very MAGA
that's
with
right.
Trump.
That's right.
And I just went there and to introduce myself and to concrete this event. And lo and behold, something just happened. And I said, I wrote some lines, just making a joke, because I like to write poetry. And he said, let me hear them. So I said, can you come back, go in my studio? He said, I have an idea. And I said, sure. And he said, boy, you have confidence. I said, well, at this age, you learn to have confidence. You know,
That's right.
I'm almost 72.
Wow.
And
you
I
hide
said,
that very well. Yeah.
I said, I'm not afraid. So I went in there, and he just popped out with the idea of Gucci Granny, Grandma's for Trump, or Granny's for Trump.
Yeah.
And he wrote the song right there. We shot the song, did the whole score, everything, till 3 a.m. He wrote it. We were in the studio till like 3:30. And that was the birth of Gucci Granny.
Gucci Granny.
Next day, he took me to a Roger Stone event, dinner, and he said, you're going to perform. And I said, what? I hadn't been out of the studio.
He believes in grabbing things.
That's right. Let's go.
He says, let the opportunity, don't let it pass you by.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know it. And it'd been 10 hours since I birthed it, sung it.
Right.
And got on the stage
and
with
performing it.
and performed it. And the lip
goodness
sync was funny, guys,
Oh, Lord.
because it was like,
what am I saying? I don't know the lyrics yet. Yeah, I'm still learning the lines. That is so cool.
I knew the yeah part.
Yeah, and for many that don't know this, there is this whole world of conservative hip hop artists that's sort of burgeoned in the Trump era. And it is just fascinating. And it's the really good stuff. This isn't just cheesy.
No.
There's some really solid. I like Tom McDonald. There's a few others that are just really great music. I mean, just really. And as a matter of fact, it's so good. They outsell hip hop artists that are. They're typically mainstream.
That's right.
And if you go to the Apple iTunes store and look at the #1 seller, like even a couple of days ago, well, there's I think Tom McDonald and Ben Shapiro just did a music video the other #1 song in the country.
I know.
And it's like Ben Shapiro, and you're rapping about his yarmulke. It's just really funny. But that shows you the power of the conservative movement, the populist movement in this country, and the fact that and hip hop has always been a sort of sort of the music of the people, music of the streets, music of the grassroots, and so it's a beautiful blend of that.
Well, for so
this
long,
movement.
the left has hijacked, the media, the movies, and
Yes,
the
culture.
and the entertainment.
Yeah.
And now it's great to see those things, interjecting into
That's
the
right.
conservative
Oh,
movement, and the
absolutely.
creativity is
That's right.
amazing. And just like him grabbing that opportunity, I think we miss opportunity sometimes because we think this won't work, but it's very great. I think
cool.
it's great.
Well, let's just go ahead and watch the video.
Yeah.
How's that? So let's just spin up Gucci Grandma with Forgiato Blow and Trey. Let's.
Gucci Granny in the building.
Oh, gee.
Republicans, we in the building.
Oh, girl.
Racks on racks, I got racks on racks.
Racks.
Bring President Trump on back. Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
Gucci.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
Gucci.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
I'm going MAGA.
Keep the blicky in my Gucci fanny.
To it.
Grandma's for Trump, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Talk to
yeah.
'em.
Granny's for Trump, yeah, 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 yeah.
Woo.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
You know I'm dripping in Gucci.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
Hey. Let me shout out Beethoven.
You know this beat is barking loud as Beethoven. Senior citizen, but my neck all golden. I got the block hot, but my wrist all frozen.
I froze.
You know Grandma got that stupid swag.
That's right.
Hunter Biden couldn't touch me with a stupid bag.
Hey.
You want those rags, vote for Trump. Free bands for life.
Free bands.
Mar-a-Lago with the gang. I do this every night. Gang, gang, MAGA, MAGA, gang, gang.
21.
All my grannies throwing up the same
Throw
thing.
it up.
Teach your little children not to gang bang.
21.
Drop the top on the rose. Miss Daisy steady swerving both lanes. If you going broke, we ain't the same. They thought I left my lights on. It was my chain.
I'm shamed.
Call the fireman. Granny spitting flame. Now wipe me down and go and put me on the campaign.
Gucci Granny's legendary name.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
Gucci.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
Gucci.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
I'm going MAGA.
Keep the blicky in my Gucci fanny.
To it.
Grandma's for Trump, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Talk to
yeah.
'em.
Granny's for Trump, yeah, 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 yeah.
Woo.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny.
You know I'm dripping in Gucci.
Gucci Granny, Gucci Granny. I'm just a MAGA girl riding on that Trump train. All these diamonds on my chain, yeah, that's a MAGA bling. Call me OG, I'm the old girl. Gangsta grandma going Gucci in this MAGA.
And that's awesome. That's great. That is so cool. I love it. And I saw you you're nodding your head over there.
Yeah,
You're,
it
you're,
is, yeah.
you're rolling
No,
with
I
that
mean,
beat.
yeah,
That is good stuff. And I think
can't
you know
help
the
it.
lyrics now. You were mouthing
you
some
were.
of the lyrics.
Oh,
so,
yes,
so I think you've
yes.
learned your lines now. That's really good.
I have.
So that is amazing. That's awesome work. Good job. And how fun to do that. And
It was
and,
so fun.
yeah.
And I sometimes take the opportunity to explain to people some of the words, as I said to Jim before the show, the urbanics of it. I didn't understand what blicky was. I didn't understand.
That's right. There's a lot of slang that's popular.
Yes,
that just,
yes,
well, what
but
is
it's for the-
Gucci? Like Gucci means good. It means
Good.
kind of, it's right.
Good.
It's kind of cool,
And keep
Yeah.
the block hot means there's trouble in the street, stay inside.
Oh, okay.
So we got the block is hot, don't go outside.
There we go.
And then the rest of
fits.
it's kind of self-explanatory. Most of it is, but
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, okay. I
I
had,
love it.
Well, have you heard from young people on this and people that have been influenced by this is a great way to influence and impress people, I think,
well,
about.
the thing was, and Forgiato says a lot to me, and we had a long discussion. I'm bridging the gap. We have to reach. We can't reach people. The young people don't respond to me getting up. And I'm a preacher's kid. You know who sings if there's nobody at church?
Right.
Yeah,
The
right.
preacher's kid.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
right. Yeah.
I said I could get up and sing Amazing Grace all day long, and they would turn away, wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
But if I got up and I appealed to them and let them know there's things going on in the hip hop world that are not all nasty curse words,
Right,
and there is
right.
there's a fraction of people out there that they really don't listen to it or watch it, and they said, "Look what you've done." Look what you've done. And as I said, clutched their pearls and said, oh, no.
No. Well.
She,
Yeah.
But the thing is, then
Yeah.
there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I've read the comments, and they're heinous.
Yeah.
A lot of them are by young kids, and a lot of them aren't. But
Wow.
there's a lot of really good ones
Yeah.
that say, if you're willing to do this at this age, you're willing to try to to make the age gap. And
right.
the Trump Latinos, if I may quote them, said, MAGA has no age, color, or race.
We are here to defend democracy.
Misinformation poses a threat to our nation's health.
Climate change is an emergency.
Democratic socialism.
Codify one's right to choose.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
See, it takes
That's the
away
beauty
from
of it.
it takes away from the negativity toward MAGA. You know, it
Yes.
adds a different perspective for
Yeah.
young people. I think it's
Yeah,
a creative and
absolutely.
interesting approach. I really do.
And I wouldn't even listen to the negative comments. I mean, haters are going to hate, as they
Haters
say.
are gonna hate.
Haters going to
But
hate.
they're watching it.
So, but they're watching it.
That's right.
And,
They're watching.
they're not going to hate you. You're not going to find the haters unless you're actually making an impact. I think Steve Bannon says that a lot. You start getting flack when you're over the target.
you're over the target, yeah.
And so that means you're actually, if people are actually giving you negative feedback, that means you're being effective. And so that you got to just kind of revel on that.
Yeah, the
But,
the Newsweek thing. I got woken up in the morning and said, "Did you know you made Newsweek?" I said,
you made
"What?"
Newsweek. I didn't know this. Yeah,
Oh,
really.
yeah, and they
Okay.
woke up and said, "Pro-Trump granny makes waves, a flood of memes and jokes." It was on Newsweek, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's great.
Oh, I love
So,
it.
and you
I
know
love
what?
it.
The thing is that when you read the article, it's really great.
Yeah, that's
It
really,
real-
really, yeah.
It wasn't totally against me. It did
Yeah.
say those things, but it was like,
Well, it's such a creative approach. It's hard not to like it, even if you're not a Trump fan. I mean,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
but
Right.
but if you're deciding, if you're reaching those people or trying to decide, or maybe young
Right.
people, you can influence them that way, positive in
right.
a positive way.
Yeah.
well, and though I think Trump started MAGA, the words "Make America Great Again" is really the theme.
That's right.
No matter what it takes for us to fight against the left.
That's right.
Whatever methodology we use.
Yeah.
But they use it. They've used these
Ugh.
approaches, and now
Yeah.
it's great to see it from.
Yeah,
our
well,
side.
tell us a little bit about Diane Starr prior to Gucci Grandma, because you've done a lot of work in political circles here locally, and obviously you have an event we're going to talk about here in a moment. So, but what motivated you to get involved in politics and be an activist, so to speak?
Well, my husband is ex-military, and we were just starting to see the decline. This is just prior to COVID when they introduced the isolation and fear.
Yeah.
But we were just being old, and I was just sitting on the couch. I've always been a opportunist as far as to get involved in something, church, volunteer something. But then he said, let's support this cause. It was a cause. It's if I may say it,
Yeah, sure.
that we believed in. It was COS, and we thought, wow, we need term limits. So
There we go.
at that juncture, I began going around, and I have a voice, and I'm not afraid to speak. So as I began to speak about certain things, somebody came up to me that wanted to run for Congress and said, "Listen, I'm thinking of running for Congress. Would you join and be my campaign manager
Really?
or
Okay.
strategist?"
Okay.
And I said, "Well, sure. I've always believed that go for the moon." So I said, "Sure." So
But you've never done that before. You've never been a campaign
Never.
manager. There we
Never.
go.
Never.
Fake it till you make it. That's what I
the
said.
biggest, I'd been a 4-H leader, if you count that. I took the kids to Washington to watch an
Yeah, that's
inauguration.
right.
That's,
right.
You learn a lot of things by doing those.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's the lack of fear. You must not fear
Right.
the unknown.
Yeah.
You have to. How do we learn? How do we move on? How do we invent And how do we beat the other side unless we
right.
start? So I jumped
Unless
in.
you start. I think that you just said the key. You got to start. And,
Start.
yeah, I think momentum is more important than knowing what you're doing.
It is.
Because if you just step out and start doing something, you'll figure it out. You know,
That's
but
right.
if you never, but most people overplan things, they overthink things, and they don't start, and because they think they have to have it perfect before they go out. You know, but every general knows this. If when you're fighting a battle, you can have the perfect battle plan, but as soon as the first bullet goes off, if your plan changes, you have to be adjust. You have to be flexible anyway. So the key is just to have momentum, get out there and start doing things, and you'll figure it out. You'll connect with people. It's just momentum. So I
How
love
many
you the way you do that.
candidates, people would step up and run? Good conservatives,
Yeah.
should step up and run,
Right.
but they don't because they don't have it all figured out.
That's
you know?
right.
Right.
And it's-
Don't let that stop you. Yeah. It's
And
just-
I think your presence and your approach could help people with that.
absolutely.
You really do,
Yeah.
Well, you could read The Art of War all you wanted to, but if you've never implemented any of the wisdom,
There we go.
you couldn't
That's right.
compound the momentum.
That's right.
That's it.
Unless you took Alf and just said, okay, I don't understand everything like you said
Yeah.
in this book, but I hear more volunteers say, I don't know where to start than anything I ever hear. I said, what?
We are here to defend democracy.
Misinformation poses a threat to our nation's health.
Climate change is an emergency.
Democratic socialism.
Codify one's right to choose.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
Do the station. We're a local conservative news group here, and we didn't know General Flynn was coming. So it's like, so this shows you how conservatives, we need to work together.
Yes.
Not worry about who's territorial and all that. It's not worry.
No.
Well, my philosophy is just help good people get where they're going. Don't worry about all that stuff, and it all works out because you build relationships and,
Right.
you get the movement moving down the road.
I
And
did
so-
see a Facebook ad about it, but or somewhere along the line, but I didn't really know anything about it. So
I didn't. No, I really didn't.
much
So
at all.
yeah, so it's Monday. Let's get the times and dates. So it's Monday night, the 19th. What time is it? 6.
If it's a meet and greet, if you buy the VIP ticket, then you meet and greet with him in the green room and the boys.
Oh,
the,
really? You actually can
Trump
meet-
Latinos.
meet
Oh,
them?
yes.
Oh,
A
that is
picture
awesome.
with him.
Oh, wow.
And there'll be
Okay.
like hors d'oeuvres served. So that's,
Yeah.
I would say arrive at 4:30. The meet and greet starts at 5.
Yeah.
The general admission starts, you can come in at 5 and you'll be seated
Okay.
accordingly.
Terrific.
And it starts at the
Yeah.
main
6.
6 o'clock.
Yeah,
6
it is
to
a
9.
ticketed event. It is there's limited tickets. So I
Limited
think that, yeah,
tickets.
the tickets are on. Actually, there's a slight discount right now, right? I think.
Oh,
that-
we
that-
just last
yeah.
night. The thing is, it's hard. We're a small group.
Yeah.
And this was a big venture. I just went for it.
Yeah.
And he just picked it up, and I'm saying, wow. And then everybody it just started differently. So I went for it, not knowing some of the particulars of a larger event such as
Yeah.
planned. I thought every Kentuckian, Jim, would flock to see this iconic
Right.
speaker.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not so.
Yeah.
Well, then we found out people don't know and didn't know, so the ticket sales were, they were lower.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, so I think it's permissible for me to say any donors or sponsors that we
Right.
could get, please,
Sure.
please reach out to Tom if you would, or Jim.
Yeah.
And,
or you can go to a website.
Yes, they can go to the website. They can-
RWF Forum.
ky.org.
It's the Republican Women's Forum.
That's right.
Of Kentucky.org, and you can buy tickets there.
Buy
And
tickets there.
I think we'll try to pull that up on the screen here in a minute. So
We
people can
don't
see that.
have anything for donate. We've not been that before
Yeah.
this event, as you know, Jim. Every event, requires that.
Can you buy tickets at the door if you were?
You can buy tickets at the door.
Okay.
You can
All right.
donate. You can reach out even there in an
You can
info
be a
mail.
sponsor, but if you want to be a sponsor, you can
Reach
do
out.
it through the website, right? Or
You
on-
could reach out through an
or reach
email
out.
or
Okay.
reach out through me. My name is on all the flyers with
Okay.
my phone number if you'd like to be a
Yeah,
sponsor.
and we'll put your email up on the screen as well.
Okay.
And so,
That's
yeah.
now that's perfect. So
Yeah.
we're excited. I don't try to do anything that's mediocre. You guys probably know that kind of about me now.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is going to be one heck of an event. We have,
Yeah.
I hate to use the word diverse, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean it in the good terminology. Diverse speakers, or some that are going to be Christian singers.
Right.
There's going to be the Hip Hop to Reach the Youth ministry. Just bridging, like I said before, and I hate to be redundant, but for this nation, in this climate, in this time, 2024 is going to be the year.
Yeah. I feel it. I feel
And
it.
then I think, Tom, that again, the importance of this media outlet,
Ah.
with future events,
Yes.
to really make this a place where people can
Absolutely.
find out about that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So what's in it? You're from Louisville. You're from this area, correct?
I was actually born here, moved away, and moved back.
Moved
yes.
back. Okay, great, good. So you follow Kentucky politics as well.
Yes, I do.
And of course, in national politics. So, what are some of the issues that really move you right now? Well, what are you really concerned about? You mentioned 2024 being a pivotal year. So obviously we have the presidential election, but what are some of the ideas and issues that are really concerning you that motivates you to get involved in politics locally?
Well, the children,
Yeah.
absolutely the children, the slow, insidious creep up of the indoctrination, and then that much more when the pandemic occurred.
Right. Yeah.
And then I started seeing the human trafficking in between 23 and 22 and 23, human trafficking for children in Kentucky alone grew 70%.
Yeah.
And, there are things that we
And
just...
that's tied into immigration problems, the border, all
Yes.
this
Yes.
stuff. So, so that's a huge issue. Obviously, and you mentioned the children. So you're talking about the woke indoctrination in schools.
that's
in other
correct.
words. So
That's correct.
So how we're just ruining a generation of children with just these lies and so Marxist lies. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to say, Jim, that we know that everybody that's a Republican isn't a true Republican. We know that there are rhinos. and
Well, I would say
corruption.
everybody who says they're Republican isn't a true conservative. 'Cause you just
I like that better. I like that better.
Because
But you
it's-
talk about our children, our future generations.
Amen.
And like Ronald Reagan said, freedom isn't handed down in the
Nope.
bloodstream. It must be passed down. It must be by each generation, right? And
That's right.
I think we kind of laugh about the video and all that, and it's humorous. But finding ways to do that, is important. It really is. Finding ways to reach young people and talk their language,
That's right.
And
That's right.
So and then having you connected with General Flynn, I think that's just
It's
I think
wonderful.
that'll help a wider audience pay attention to what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
think that-
and just your
yeah.
story as well. I think it's going to inspire our viewers to get involved, and you were just the average everyday grandmother just sitting on the couch and saying,
You
know
can
what?
say it, Tom.
Yeah, the world, I'll say it. Yeah, listen, the world needs my help. It really does. Everybody watching has a role to play right now. We're in a cultural battle. We're in a spiritual battle. We're in a
Amen.
political battle.
Amen.
And everybody watching, you have a role. I mean, at the very least, vote. The very least, but that's the minimum you should be doing. There's more to be done because there's almost like a counter-revolution that we need to develop here. America's gone through this basically a cultural revolution on
It is.
many levels over the past
It
10
is.
years, and you all feel it. It's totally something's weird. We're not America right now. We don't feel like we were America right now, and there's a reason for that because of this movement. And so we need to push back, and it's happening. And you're not alone. I want you to know you're not alone. There's people like Diane. There's people like Jim, myself, the show. So there's a community. There's hip hop artists out there that are writing songs
Tom
about
wants
this.
to be hip-hop.
So I want to be a hip hop artist.
Tom wants to rap.
I want to do my gang signs. You know.
But what about Trump out in these early times? What about these wins?
We got to wrap this up because we're running out of time. So I'm going to wrap the show up, and I hate to do this, but let me. So the event is on the 19th, and
February
it is
19th,
February
President's
19th,
Day.
President's Day. It's called again. What's the name of the event?
RWFF presents American Revival Project.
American Revival Project with General Flynn, and so it's a Monday night on the 19th, and there are tickets. How much are the tickets right now?
Right now, we just cut them in half.
So,
We
okay.
just basically cut them in half.
They're
General
40
admission is $40.
$40.
I want to
That's-
see the people hear him rather than.
That's right.
We're not making. We're not there to make money.
No, this isn't a, it's not to make a profit,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just to get the message out and to cover the cost of the building and that sort of thing. So, and you can get tickets at the door as well.
At the
And so,
door.
very good. And Jim, I'll let you have the final word, but
No, I just think what's happened with Trump, and people should not just pay attention to the left-wing corporate media to get their signals
No.
about what's happening.
That's
Look
right.
at what's happened in these primaries. So thank you for what you're doing. I think it's huge. And let's try to find ways to reach our next generation. I think it's big.
Well, I want to thank you guys because what you're doing now and in the future is absolutely so important. I'm so excited to do things in the future
Yeah,
with you as well.
absolutely.
And
Let's
just
look forward
do
to
it.
it. Come on back.
Let's do it.
Let's do a song. Let's do some.
let's,
Tom, see, I'm telling you, he's
let's
like,
throw
gang
up
signs.
Gucci
Station
Granny.
gang sign
I'll let
right
you
here.
all, I'll work on
Come
better
on,
things.
Jim.
So
Well, you're watching the station. We'll see you next week.
We are here to defend democracy.
Misinformation poses a threat to our nation's health.
Climate change is an emergency.
Democratic socialism.
Codify women's right to choose.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR 15